I feel blessed today. What an awesome day to be alive. Hey guys, if you don't know me, my name is Gustav B. Yachu. I am a first, second generation immigrant personal finance, purpose, and legacy coach. I'm a personal finance strategist and a legacy architect. I teach first and second generation immigrants how to uncover their purpose, how to invest in assets in order to build wealth, and how to bequeath a lasting legacy. I went through one bankruptcy, paid over $100,000 to the bankruptcy court, foreclosed on 2 homes. We have made all the financial mistakes you could think. And that was a lesson that taught me that I was able to recover and build my life to over $1 million in portfolio value. And that's why I feel like when I talk to you, you have to listen. I'm not talking to you from theory, I'm talking to you from experience. But anyways, I just came from dropping my daughter off at school. And it's their last week of school today. And usually when I drop them off, I do one thing. Either when I drop them off, if I'm not dropping them, if they're catching the bus to go to school, they will stop by in my office, go down, and I'll put my hand over their head and pray for them. And now, why is this important? This is one of my most important daily activities. Because from the day I recognize that as a father, I have the authority to bless my children. And until I bless them, no other person's blessing can be as powerful as that of a father. I realize the second thing is that as a father, it is my responsibility to pray over my family. It is my responsibility to lead my family, not only financially, psychologically. I also have to lead them spiritually. And why do I say this? I say this because we are living in a time today where it is easy to believe that you can make financial advancement, you can make economic advancement, even at the expense of losing your soul, even at the expense of losing the personal identity of who you truly are. Let me tell you guys, I'm 49 years old. I've lived through life. Like I said, I've filed for bankruptcy. I've lost homes. I've lost $150,000 in savings. I've shopped with my family in Goodwill for 4 years after my bankruptcy. So I was comfortable. I came down to below zero and I rose again. The one thing I realized in that entire process is building my life after massive financial setback is it is important to have an anchor, to have spiritual clarity on who you are and whose you are and what your anchor is. And by any means, I'm no pastor or preacher or anything like that. But I'm saying that what I see today, coaching a lot of people, including people who are worth 7 figures, helping them to restructure their finances, helping to teach them how to invest on the stock market for consistent growth, even those who make 6 figures. One of the things I've realized across the board is this fear and lack of contentment with what we have. I've worked with people who are significantly comfortable on paper, but they still worry a lot about money. And instead of continuing to teach them how to invest, I spend a lot of time trying to rewire them and comfort them to understand that they are not in the desperate situation they feel they are. And for a lot of them, it's not really their fault. It's the wiring of the time we live. You see, the human mind was never designed to take this volume of information at a time. We are living in a time today where the average human being gets bombarded by 3,000 pieces of information a day. That is a lot for the human mind and human spirit to process. And a lot of that information is either selling you a lifestyle, selling you a program, selling you insufficiency, making you feel like you are not enough, making you feel like there is something lacking in your life, that you don't have it and you need to have it. You turn on Instagram, you see your friends, you see your neighbors, it feels like they're way ahead. Their lifestyle is way better than your life. They are happier than you, and you start believing in a 5-minute perfected video, and you take that and you start comparing it to your reality of a daily, day-to-day grind. Guys, you must understand something. I want you to understand something. If you are going to be successful with your life, if you are going to be content with your life, it is not only enough to make your money work for you, like I teach people how to invest and make your money work for you while you sleep. But it is also enough. It will also be important for you to draw a line and determine what enough is in your life. What is enough? You see, there's a recent surge today of minimalism, of frugality, of people who have money but have decided to live a simpler life, have decided to discard a lot of things, have decided to stop being slaves to owning stuff that they don't need. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. Actually, she's a friend. She and her husband are friends to my little sister. And so they came for my little niece's graduation. And this couple, they overcame over $250,000 in debt that they repaid. And today they have been able to build their net worth, and they have a portfolio of over 2.5 million. A net worth of over 2.5 million. And so the lady told me something that was so powerful. She said, a few years ago, instead of buying dresses, because you know ladies always love to buy dresses to go to parties, and our community is a community that loves celebration, so she realized she was spending a lot of money on clothing. So what she decided to do was, every time she has a party, she will go to this website where she can rent a beautiful dress, wear it to the party, and then return the dress. And I asked her, but isn't that expensive? You will be renting a dress for maybe $100 and you're returning the dress? And she told me, Gustav, let me explain to you how this works and why I do that. She said before now, if she had to attend 10 events in the year, she'll need to buy 10 new dresses. And sometimes those 10 dresses averagely cost her about $400 to $500. And she sat back and realized that she does that every year. Sometimes she puts on a little bit of weight, so the ones she bought last year cannot fit. Sometimes she loses weight, so the ones that can fit can no longer fit because they are too big. So she realized that she has all those dresses in her closet, but the number of times she has worn those dresses over the last 5 years is not significant. She's worn some of them twice. Some of them she didn't even wear them. Some of them she's worn them once. So she realized that the cost per use, I want you to listen to me and understand this concept I'm talking to you right now. She realized that the cost per use of those dresses are so high, it doesn't make sense. And some of them she never got around to wearing them because she never came back to that size after wearing them once at that size. So what she decided was a wiser idea was to rent these dresses. That way she will get the right dress at her right size at that time and don't have to worry about buying the dress. Yes, it cost about $100 to lease it for that event. But what happens is that by the end of the year, if she goes to 10 events, she would have only spent $1,000 on dresses. Now, if you multiply that by 5 years, she would have gone to 50 events at the cost of the $5,000 initially she had spent only for 10 dresses. Now, it works for some people, it doesn't. But why am I sharing this story? Because it is important in this time for us to understand what is happening. The greatest thief of our joy is the perception that we see on the outside of other people living joyful lives. You must determine exactly what your joy is. You must determine exactly what content is. You must determine what your happy life is. You must determine what your rich life is. Until you do that, you will never be happy. I remember Bob Marley in the song he sang, he said, no, in an interview, he said something so powerful. He said, you know, some people are so rich, are so poor that all they have is money. Another thing he said is that money is just numbers, and numbers never end. So if your contentment and joy in life is based on numbers, the numbers will never end. The minute you have 100,000, you want 200,000. The minute you have 200, you want 300. So what really ends is your own perception of what your life is, what contentment is, what happiness is to your life. And guys, you know, this is what I teach my communities every day. If you haven't joined my community, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, all right? Join my community. I have wonderful programs. I teach people. I've helped hundreds of people go from near zero, from complete confusion, to building portfolios that are delivering them value. to teaching them how to consistently invest in the stock market, to invest in their retirement in a way that by the time they get to the age where they want to stop working, they'll have options. Because you must realize retirement is not a number. Retirement is actually financial ability to make working optional. So I hope to see you in the next video. Until the next time, be well, be blessed, and by all means, never stop being a blessing. And by the way, if you want a confidential one-on-one session with me, look in the link below. You will see that. Please click on the link and let's get together. Also, if you would like an instant access, because I have a program called the Paycheck Escape System, and it's an instant access. It's only $27 for that program. You click purchase the program and you have instant access to 1 hour 30 minutes of complete training on how to leverage your paycheck to build wealth. Because you must understand, most people are going to use their paycheck to build wealth. Okay, most people are not going to build wealth by creating a business and all of that stuff. It sounds sexy, it sounds beautiful, but the reality of the matter is 70% of people want to be their own bosses. Only 3% will end up being their own boss. So the way most people are going to build wealth is by consistently investing in assets that grow overnight while they sleep. And I want you not to miss that wave. This is the best time. There is no better time to be an investor, right? So if you want to join me in that, click in the link. You have access to that video and you can access it right away. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.